In Florida, if you don't agree with the far right-wing government of Israel, they will actually take contracts away from you. They will hurt your livelihood. That is the government regulating speech. I assume you've spoken out against that and you've been vituperative about it, right?
To the extent that a person advocates BDS, which is the economic destruction of Israel, and should be allowed to advocate it, I think they should be allowed to advocate it. That's right.
So okay. Florida and DeSantis is dead wrong, right? That is a violation of free speech and totally wrong.
Netanyahu is no longer in government. Why are you calling it far right?
Yeah, you think that Naftali Bennett got any better, or the current person that's in charge? They're all right wingers. None of them want Palestinians to be free. They think Palestinians aren't really fully human and can't be trusted to run their own government. They deny them a state. And so, but let's get back to America. January 6th.
No. You can't throw out bombshells and then move on.
All right.
You think that the Israeli government or the average Israeli who voted for this government thinks that Palestinians are not fully human?
Absolutely. Then why don't you let them go? Why can't they have their own state?
Because it'll be run by Hamas. Are you foolish?
Okay, so what? The right-wing, violent government of Israel kills Palestinians all the time. Okay. So you're saying, wait, no, but you're saying the Palestinians cannot govern themselves. Isn't that what you're saying as a fact?
You believe that there is moral equivalence between Israel and Hamas. That's all I needed to hear.
You're literally saying they're not equal. You're saying the Palestinians and the Israelis are not equal. We have to violently oppress them for the rest of their lives. How long is the occupation gonna go? How long are you gonna keep millions of Palestinians as prisoners because you think they're less than human?
Okay, Israel doesn't want to commit suicide because you sitting.
Wow. There goes Cenk again. Absolutely incredible with what he's basically saying. Virtue signaling from the top of his perch, looking down on everything and basically blaming Israel for everything that is going on here. And as Dennis said, the moral equivalency that Cenk is talking about, that's all you need to know here, folks. That's all you need to know. Being woke about this, being a social justice warrior about this, being virtue signaling on the behalf of Hamas and those on the Palestinian side that frankly allow Hamas to do what they're doing. I mean, this is just absolutely incredible. Let's continue on with this video and see where Cenk goes.
Have it good, okay?
Okay, so you're saying never, right? You're going to imprison Palestinians for the rest of time. Is that correct?
When the Palestinians disavow terror and stop trying to destroy Israel and don't announce that they want to destroy Israel, there will be peace.
Dennis, they have done that in the past. You said not good enough. But the current state of affairs is the absurdity of the Israelis saying, we will not allow you to have a state because you theoretically say that we cannot have a state when we already have one. But no, you're literally preventing them from having a state. So since you are preventing them, doesn't that make you a monster who doesn't believe in freedom? And that all of your empty talk about, how much you love freedom is total garbage because you don't think it applies to Palestinians.
You have a weird way of thinking.
Dennis, absolutely. Look at this thing here. Dennis just goes right back there and says, you have a weird way of thinking. I've been saying that all along. He's a blustering buffoon. Those people, we're progressives because we want progress. I mean, this is just absolutely incredible here. He just went on the attack. Okay, that's fine. You're debating. You use that tactic. Perfectly fine. But then in terms of basically saying, the Palestinians, listen, the Palestinians, they have been told over and over again, Israel has ceded land to them that they won rightfully in wars that they didn't begin. Now, everybody goes back and says, well, you know what? Let's go back to 1947 with the creation. Let's go even back before then. Look, how many times do you want to go back to the past? What's done is done. whatever you think in terms of it, whether it's right or wrong, you're not going to get rid of Israel. The Jews are not coming out of Israel. They're going to be there. Now, as far as a two-state solution, as we're talking about, somewhere down the line, that's got to come to fruition. But as Dennis was saying, is that until you get some type of a reasonable type of, something that's coming from the Palestinians, that Israel can be reasonably certain, that's what I was looking for, that they can be reasonably certain that they will allow Israel to be Israel, that there will no more being these attacks, terrorist attacks going, that Hamas would not allow to basically take a hold of the Palestinians and dictate what's going to happen. And that in the charter that Hamas has for the destruction of Israel, these types of wordings, these types of sayings, the chant from the river to the sea, all these types of things have got to be they've got to be taken off the table. They can't be out there. Otherwise, Israel's going to say, look, this is just going to continue forever and ever. We give an inch. They want a mile. They want more than that. And as we've known right now, Hamas, a terrorist organization, wants a complete destruction of Israel. They want the entire, in terms of everything that is Israel, to be completely obliterated and be given over to the Palestinians. And Israel is wiped off the face, and Palestine is set there forever. That's not going to happen.
Great answer.
Go ahead. Why
It is
can't
a
the
great
Palestinians
answer.
have the same
Why is
freedom
it
that
weird?
every other human being
Okay,
has?
if you allow me to speak, I'll tell you why it's weird. You believe there is a moral equivalence between Israel and Hamas. That is morally sick.
You are sick for not allowing Palestinians, millions of them, to be free. You don't believe in freedom, Dennis. You believe in oppression as long as it's on your side. Why can't they be free? Why can't Palestinians be free? Because they will choose a government you don't agree with? That is the definition of oppression.
Okay, there you go. Okay, the people heard my position. They heard yours.
Your position is, just to be clear, the Palestinians cannot be free. They are not equipped to handle freedom. Is that your position?
At this point, they would elect Hamas. When Israel did what you want and left Gaza, it ended up being run by the terror organization called Hamas.
So they would elect someone you don't agree with, and hence they are not allowed to have freedom. What a big advocate of freedom of speech you are, Dennis. Wow, a shining advocate for freedom who says, if you don't elect who I want, you will never be free, and you'll be under our thumb and under occupation. You will never have your own country. That's literally what you're saying, Dennis.
No, it's not at all what I'm saying.
You're saying if you elect people I don't want, Hamas in this case, you're never allowed to be free. So who do you want him to elect? Dennis Prager as the head of the Palestinian government? Is that what you want? Then you allow them freedom? Would you even do that? You would never allow them. Why can't Palestinians be treated in the same exact way as every other human being?
Let me know when I can speak. Have we reached the point that I can speak? I will say the same thing again. Israel does not want to commit suicide by having Hamas and having Iran and having Hezbollah type people run the West Bank like they run Gaza. That is it.
People.
I have always been for two states. Most Israelis were for two states. There is almost no one left in Israel who agrees with you, including the Israeli left. You live in a make-believe world.
Why are they, Dennis? Why are they the type of people who can't govern themselves? What does that mean? What do you mean that they're the type of people who can't govern themselves?
They would elect vicious terrorists to kill Israelis. That's whom they would elect, and Israel is not for it.
Why would they be different than all other human beings? Why would they be
not different from all other human beings? Iran has that.
But you said that they cannot govern themselves, and they will elect vicious terrorists.
That's right. Unfortunately, because the worst of them are dominant, just like in Iran.
Just like Netanyahu
most Iranians
and all the thousands.
There we go again. The same thing. we continue to go back to the same thing over and over and over and over again. Now, what Cenk basically is saying is that just allow them to go ahead and elect whoever they want. If they want to go ahead and elect Hamas, they have elected Hamas. And we don't even know if those elections were, on the up and up. Because you talk to many Palestinians, and many Palestinians do not want Hamas in charge and are not in favor of Hamas. But the problem is that if they speak up, well, what happens? They're taken out by their very own. And when Hamas is the one that's controlling the guns, when Hamas is the one that's controlling those borders, when Hamas is the one that's in control and has everything, and the Palestinians don't, it's obviously very hard for those Palestinians that are against Hamas to rise up, because they know that they don't have the power, they don't have the guns, they don't have the the ability to go against Hamas themselves. So this is the problem that's happening right now, is that either they've instituted themselves, freely elected, which I highly doubt, but if that's the case, then you have a majority of Palestinians that are basically subscribing to the Hamas charter for the destruction of Israel. And all Dennis is saying is that how can we allow how can we allow the Palestinians to have their own state when they're going to elect hostile individuals, a hostile government that is basically saying we want the destruction of Israel, the complete obliteration of the Jewish people? How can we give that up and decide on a two-state formation, right now? I mean, this is obviously very, very complicated. But for Cenk and TYT to basically take the moral high ground, say that the Palestinians have done absolutely nothing wrong, and they're just simply people that are under occupation, and that they're simply looking for their freedom. I mean, there's just so much more to this than Cenk is willing to meet, with his eye. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasir. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and follow us. You know what to do. Check out our links above and below. I'll leave you with my final thought, which is, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.